Are you taking supplements and still not feeling good? Still not recovering from your health issues? Or not even sure if they're working at all? In this video, I'll explain why this is such a common problem I see in clients when they come to see me and what you can do about it. Hey guys, my name is Dr. Andrew Chambers. This problem is one of the single biggest problems that I see in new clients when they're coming to see me. I touched on it in a previous video I did, the missing ingredient in your health journey. But in this video, I want to dive into a lot more specifics so that you guys can have some good ideas of what to do about it. Let's dive in. So let me start by painting two pictures. And as I'm doing this, think to yourself, which one is better describing me and my issues at this moment? So our first picture, we have someone taking gobs of supplements, not really sure which one's doing what, which one's helping, which one's not. Not really sure what the roadmap to healing is in terms of how it involves the supplements are on or what changes they'll have to make in the future. And ultimately kind of going in circles with their health issues over time. Now in our other picture, we have a person taking either one or a very small number of supplements that they do know are working, and there's a very clear defined roadmap on their health journey in terms of when to make changes and how to make changes so that ultimately they have the tools to achieve their health goals. Now, which of these two pictures better describes you? And is the second picture even possible? Let's learn more. Now, I'll start by explaining the second picture, which is my goal when I work with clients and how I help my clients achieve that. So I achieve it through two main methods. The first method is by ultimately taking a more broad, whole person approach in terms of assessment and intervention of their health issues. I spoke about this whole person approach in more detail in my previous video, so be sure to check that out if you haven't seen it already. The second method is by utilizing classical homeopathy with all of my clients. Now, what is homeopathy and how does it relate to this specific issue? So homeopathy uses one single substance at a given time for a person's issues, and we call that the homeopathic remedy. Now, this single homeopathic remedy is used to help all of a person's most bothersome symptoms at the same time. So, as an example, let's say a person comes in and they're dealing with three main, what we call chief concerns, right? They have anxiety, heartburn, and constipation. So rather than giving them a few supplements for the anxiety, and a few different supplements for the heartburn, and a few more supplements for the constipation, with homeopathy, we would use a single homeopathic remedy with the goal of helping all three of their chief concerns at the same time. Now, the reason that this is possible to achieve with the homeopathic remedy is because the remedies work in a completely different way than conventional medications, as well as most conventional supplements out there. So whereas conventional medications and supplements work by tweaking small specific parts of our body, whether that be a specific biochemical pathway, a specific enzyme, specific hormones, or specific microbes or heavy metals, and hoping that this kind of tinkering will help the entire health condition we're dealing with get better. Homeopathic remedies act on the underlying regulatory systems within our body as a whole, which are what is primarily responsible for maintaining the chronic disease state. As described in the remarkable book, The Emerging Science of Homeopathy, Complexity, Biodynamics, and Nanopharmacology by Signorini and Bellavite, quote, the homeopathic drug is able to reactivate the regulatory system and the homeostatic circuit. Now, it's this regulatory system within us which is primarily negatively affected in disease, and therefore it's this regulatory system which we primarily need to act on in order for healing to occur. And in general, supplements do not act on this regulatory system, whereas homeopathic remedies do. And with the practice of homeopathy, we always know where we are in a person's health journey, as well as having set guidelines on when to make adjustments to the homeopathic remedy and how to do that when roadblocks come up in their healing journey so that we can get the healing to continue. Now, how does this approach vary from what you may be experiencing being trapped in that first picture, so to speak? So there are some commonalities I see in people who are engaged in a more supplement-first paradigm. So one common thing I see are supplements having been chosen more or less randomly. And I say that meaning the supplements are chosen based on things like what supplements are trending at the moment, or what supplement company has the best marketing at the moment, or what supplements our favorite podcasters or influencers are sponsored by at the moment. Or it could be something as simple as what supplements are on sale at the local health food store or on Amazon. Another commonality I see is that supplements have been chosen based on a very specific set theory of what is causing a person's health condition. And when I say theory, what I mean is it's a theory of what is ultimately responsible for their disease. Some of the more common theories of what is responsible for a person's disease, both now and in the past, are things like mercury poisoning, or Lyme disease, or bacterial or chronic viral infections, or of course bad genes, something we hear a lot about, or it could be stuff like inflammatory foods, environmental exposures, mold, pesticides, and of course the always prevalent stress. Now, this isn't to say that these theories are never true in any degree or never impactful in a person's condition. However, it is my experience that more often than not, they are only a small piece of the puzzle of their entire health condition. And by hyper-focusing on the one small piece of the puzzle, namely the specific theory they're taking their supplements to try to help, we lose sight of the bigger picture of what's ultimately responsible for the disease process, which homeopathy is best able to address. And the other issue with this supplement-first approach is that because supplements don't work in the same way that a homeopathic remedy does, a person is often forced to be on the supplements more or less indefinitely if they want to maintain the benefits they've gotten at all. Whereas with a homeopathic remedy, it works on a deeper level, and it actually works in a way that allows us to, over time, need less and less and less of it, and ultimately no more of it at all. So let's recap. With a supplement-focused approach, it's very hard, if not impossible, to address the underlying regulatory systems within our body, which are primarily responsible for maintaining the chronic disease process. Whereas homeopathy works primarily on this underlying regulatory system. And because homeopathy is working on this underlying regulatory mechanism within the body, we only need a single homeopathic remedy to cause body-wide effects and positive effects on a person's symptoms. Versus supplements, which most people that I find are taking 5, 10, 15, or even more, just kind of piling them on in the hope, in the pursuit of achieving this whole person healing effect that we can achieve with a single homeopathic remedy. And homeopathy as a system has a built-in procedure for knowing when and how to make changes to the homeopathic remedy to enable the healing process in a person to continue over time, versus a more haphazard use of supplements where people are kind of left guessing as far as what am I supposed to be changing, when, and how to do that. So what are some takeaways in this video that can be a benefit to you? First, if you haven't tried it already, consider trying classical homeopathy done by a well-trained homeopath, as that will be the single best way to get so many of the benefits I've described in this video so far. Second, if you're not doing homeopathy at this time, but you want to continue experimenting with supplements, there's 2 pieces of experience I've gathered that could be a benefit to you. So first, in my experience with the supplements, the biggest positive impacts I see on people is when they take a supplement that is correcting a nutritional deficiency that they've been dealing with. The 2 biggest examples in this category of supplements correcting nutritional deficiencies that I've seen give people the biggest bang for their buck are vitamin D and a B complex. In general, when a person is deficient in either of these vitamins, I've seen correcting that deficiency be much more helpful than dealing with so many of the more complex and fancy formulations that are so popular on the market now. And the second piece of experience I've seen with people is generally less is more when it comes to supplements. I generally find that people are on way too many supplements. And in fact, if you ask them what's helping, what's not helping, they have no idea. And so many times people stay on supplements not because they're feeling such strong positive effects from it, but more just because, they've heard that it's good for them or that they should be staying on it. My experience is that when people are on a supplement that is truly helping them, they often will feel subjective improvements within 3 to 6 weeks. And when I see people who have been taking supplements for much longer than 6 weeks and they don't have any clear idea if it's helping or not helping them, a lot of times they're just wasting their money at that point. The other benefit of a less is more approach when it comes to supplements is that it helps minimize your exposure to a lot of the more toxic excipients and binders that are so common in industrial produced supplements. And 2 of the big ones in this category would be silicon dioxide and titanium dioxide. Certainly, the more you can reduce exposure to those types of toxic excipients, the better it will be for you. And the third takeaway from this video is to remember to keep focusing more on a whole person healing approach rather than a very small, narrow, tunnel vision healing approach. I will put a link to the previous video I did on this topic at the end of this video so that you can check it out if you missed it. So thank you for watching this video. I really hope you found it helpful and informative. If you did, please give it a like, as that will help it reach more people. And until next time, I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.